Oh, Friday. Another early morning. Call it that. Haven't gone to sleep yet, so it still feels like late night. Noriko has me on a short leash. Think she knows it. Leash. Think she knows it too. Apparently, she specified this as the place of Junpei's death. Don't know how she knew of it. The parking complex belongs to Junpei's apartment building. It extends 2 or 3 levels underground. Again, Noriko specified the exact location of the death. The human removal service seems to take user requests very seriously.
How much further in?
Shh. Keep your voice down. I'm just looking for a good vantage point that we can hide.
Her words are severed by a violent gasp. Unable to speak another word, she simply points. My eyes obediently follow the direction of her slender fingers. Are we gonna see him? Her? It's her! It's her!
Oh.
But who?
Disappointing. Missed the main event.
Like, do you see? She's got a skirt. You can see the outline of her figure. What if she's also Corp? What if this is Corp? Dude, my brain. Okay. He's floating in a sea of his own lifeblood. Vicious stab wounds practically glow red along his back. After examining his remains, I turn my attention to the less interesting figure standing motionless beside him.
You.
The masked finger looks like the villain from a B-rated slasher film. He's covered from head to toe in dark clothing, a zipped-up jacket with extra long sleeves, a hood, a skirt. The cut of the figure's clothes, combined with his physique, gives me the impression that he may in fact be female. Is this the Herald we've been searching for? The bloody corpse at her feet would suggest that it is so.
That mask.
It's simple, white, probably porcelain. It's reminiscent of something, some fictional character, some film villain after all. The Herald still hasn't moved. Jesus still as a statue, gaze vacant, her eyes impossible to discern behind the mask.
Are you the Herald?
Right? Like, it's Allie, right? It's a startling jerky motion, like a mannequin or a puppet being pulled by strings. Her head cocks to the side, and she seems to notice our presence for the first time. But an answer to Noriko's question is not forthcoming. I step up to the plate.
You really immortal?
The Herald doesn't react to my voice like she reacted to Noriko's. He returned to a stiff, doll-like state. Pretty easy to prove if someone or something is immortal. Always had a curious mind. I draw the knife from my pocket and launch it at the mannequin. The blade embeds itself in the thing's shoulder, and she doesn't so much as flinch as a trickle of blood pools around the shining steel.
Mr. Hart.
Kojiro, why did you do that?
I shrug and take a step toward the Herald before Noriko tugs at my coat and holds me back. She takes my place and puts herself between me and the
Tell
Herald.
us who you are. We deserve to know that much.
Something in Noriko's words, the sound of her voice or the tone of her plea, causes the Herald to move once more in acknowledgement. The motion this time is quick, fast, calculated. Herald moves a sleeved hand to withdraw the blade from her shoulder. He allows the blade to drop down to the concrete floor with a dull ting. Before the knife hits the ground, the Herald turns her back to us and breaks into a sprint.
Shit. Not cut out to chase her.
Don't bother. We won't catch up.
The Herald disappears into the darkness of the parking lot. We're left standing by the corpse of Junpei Matsumoto.
We didn't see the killing, but at least the request was granted.
She's right. Her gambit paid off. The Herald killed her own ally, proving her convictions are strong. I crouch down to examine Junpei's corpse, but it's hard to get a good look in the darkness. Regardless, it's clear that the dog is
Should
dead.
we leave the body?
Going to send a text.
Huh? Who are you messaging?
See if I can pull a few strings. Wouldn't mind if the corpse ended up at my morgue.
What are you planning?
Nothing. Really. Just want to prod and poke a bit.
Noriko's subsequent grunt is a clear indication that she doesn't fully believe me.
Do what you want. I've gained as much from this as I had hoped.
I let her trail off as I turn my attention to my phone. I swipe through my contacts and quickly compose a message to a few people in particular. If all goes well, an investigation team will shortly arrive to examine the scene. I'll be gone by then, but if my contacts do their job correctly, they'll haul Junpei back to the morgue. I pocket my phone and scurry toward the blood-soaked knife. I launch at the Herald. It slides back into my pocket, and I signal to Noriko that we should depart.
Goodbye, Junpei Matsumoto.
He waves half-heartedly at the corpse and lets out a childlike giggle. scant few hours' sleep didn't offer much in the way of refreshment. To be at the morgue again in an hour. Not that there's much to do there since the place was robbed. Perhaps a few more cadavers will have arrived. Perhaps Junpei Matsumoto's corpse will be there. Should take this opportunity to take a breath. Been a while since life slowed down like this. I know, right? Now she can get owie for herself. No requests coming through for Corpse Girl. No bodies to haul around town with Tomoe. No cadavers to catalog at the morgue. Life should be good. Still alone. Noriko may decide to discard me at any moment. Why does that make me want her more? I want to prove my worth? My value? Prove to her that I'm worth keeping around? Don't know. It doesn't matter in the long run. After brewing myself a cup of coffee using the French press Tomoe gifted me, I take a seat in my chair. Sitting alone in the darkness is somewhat depressing, but it's only temporary. I won't be alone forever. Soon, Noriko will sit here with me. We'll be together in the darkness. I'll make her see my worth. I'll make her love me the way that I love her. I'll make her feel the void that Shizuko left in my life. I'll make her treat the gnawing pain in my insides. I'll make her save me from falling into despair, from falling into old habits. Noriko will save me from myself, just like Shizuko once did. I take a sip of my coffee. It's still a little hot, and it scalds the gap in my mouth where my tooth once was. Hurts. But I'll be okay. Soon. I don't think he knows what a healthy relationship is either. The family of the, not over the disappearance of the bodies. Okay, so they only take bodies that are scheduled for cremation, and they have a system in which they can basically forge the remains of the cremation people. So that's why. Do I? Me? It's hard to hide a smile when plans unfold perfectly. The body was here, waiting for me when I arrived at the morgue. Staring down at the pallid corpse of Junpei Matsumoto fills me with more satisfaction than I thought possible. The dog is dead. My early morning encounter with his executioner wasn't just some fever dream born from wishful thinking. His body is riddled with stab wounds, deep, clean, piercing cuts. These injuries were not inflicted by a knife. I'm no forensic pathologist, but the wounds are too thin and too deep. Each intrusion is about the width of a chopstick. Doubt he was killed by chopsticks, though. Can never rule out everything. Yeah, there's nothing healthy in this game. My gaze pans down his body, looking for anything of interest. The rest of his form looks ordinary. Nothing to note. I'll zip up the bag from now and return him to his allocated cold chamber. Might take him out once in a while to have a laugh. As I raise the zipper covering his legs and groin, I have to shift his arms to fit within the HRP. Then I flinch. My hands instinctively retract from the cadaver. I'm used to the ice-cold touch of the body fresh from its containment chamber, the sensation of lifeless, preserved flesh. Thus, it wasn't the sensation of touch that caused me to startle. It was the sight of something out of the ordinary, something I somehow missed during my initial observation. Junpei's fingers. 5 thick, meaty digits on each hand. 10 perfectly intact. Dead, but otherwise healthy fingers. It's not Junpei! It was only days ago that I pierced 2 of his fingers, his thumb and his pointer finger, using cheap metal cutlery. Can't forget the distinct feeling of plunging those implements through flesh and bone, pinning his fingers to a table. The corpse before me shows no evidence of ever being injured in such a manner. Nobody can heal wounds like that without medical attention. Even then, stitches and scars will remain. But Junpei Matsumoto's digits are 100% intact and puncture-free.
Interesting.
Come to think of it, didn't I snap another few of his fingers in half that time that I confronted him outside his apartment? I'm sure I did. Crushed the bones within my own fist. But this corpse's hands don't show signs of that either. Normal to the touch. No visible bruising. On a whim, I pull out my phone and open Noise. Navigate to Junpei Matsumoto's profile. Load a few profile images, swipe through them one by one. I put my phone right next to Junpei's head, comparing the similarities between Junpei's photos and his dead body. Everything becomes clear immediately. Certain elements of Junpei's features don't match. His nose is broader in photos, his lips are thinner, more taut. corpse in front of me is not Junpei Matsumoto. It's a copy. A clone. Junpei Matsumoto's death was faked for our entertainment. The body lying on the ground in front of the Herald was planted there before we arrived. Planted to convince us that Junpei had met his maker. Herald did not kill Junpei. The Herald simply used one of Corpse Girl's tricks and produced a carbon copy body, all in order to fool myself and Noriko. As this revelation settles in my mind, I come to another conclusion. The morgue being robbed was no coincidence. I can almost guarantee that the cadaver used to replicate Junpei's death was stolen from this very place. A weapon of deception, stolen and turned against us. And the morgue was targeted before Noriko even requested Junpei's death. Almost as if the human removal service predicted Noriko's movements in advance. Is that even impossible? All I know for sure is that the dog is still out there, still skulking around working for his master. This is starting to get interesting. What the fuck? Holy shit! Oh my god.
Okay, I think I'm up to date. I guess it was a good thing you decided to prod and poke Junpei's corpse, as you put it.
Guess so.
I'm gonna go until I hit 4 hours for the stream, so 15 minutes.
I thought you were just being your usual morbid self, taking corpses for your own use.
Yeah, I didn't get to stream as much as I wanted to last week, so I wanted to keep myself to a schedule this week. Because, you know, I do appreciate all the support that you guys give me and, hanging out with me and, being here while I'm playing games. So, yeah, you guys are awesome. Big love to everybody. Look at that, 8 months already, RX. That's crazy.
Don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm glad you acted. Faking Junpei's death. What's their end goal?
Nice follow, AJ Aaron.
What did they really accomplish?
Year and a
by doing
half.
Such a stunt.
There's a million possible answers to that question. Can't know the real truth. Not yet.
Obvious answer would be that they wanted to deceive us. Make us think we have the upper hand.
Oh, and I did decide that I'm going to do that Factor sponsorship on Friday. I'm only aiming for like 5 signups. I think that'll be fine. I'm good with that. 0 seconds, Ruben? What the fuck, dude? Come on, bro. Even have a Ruby Cloud. Jeez. But, yeah, so... Well, I guess that's tomorrow, huh? Okay, it might be on Saturday, actually. I've lost track of days and I've been busy. Work has been busy this week, so... yeah, I'm a little behind on other stuff.
I came to the same conclusion. They think they've fooled us, but we know better. Can we use that to our advantage?
Don't know.
Sometimes you're helpful, and other times you're just...
What?
Never mind.
1 year and 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It is very spooky. Siren! Oh my god, thank you so much for the raid. Dude, another, we've been getting a ton of raids. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? Thank you, thank you, thank you. What were you up to? Hope you had a fantastic time. Welcome in, Simon. Unholy Melodies. Outbreak. Nice, do love me some classic Outbreak. I hope you enjoyed the RE4 trailer that they showed today. Gotta love all the RE. Hopefully we'll get some news about that HD Outbreak at the Summer Games Fest, but who knows? We shall see. But hope your raid went well. Thank you again for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. You're mixed on it, to be honest. That's fair. That is completely fair. I feel like well, the people I talk to, RE4 is kind of divisive, right? It's not my favorite Resident Evil. I hate the entire island section, so I can't say that I, really like the game. Or like, love the game. I do like the game. But if I don't like as much, that big of a section of the game, I can't say that I absolutely love it, right? But I do like the vibes that I got from the trailer. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Right. I mean, that's what's cool about Resident Evil. There's so many different ways you can experience Resident Evil, right? And I feel like there's one that everybody can enjoy. But again, welcome in, Raiders. If you don't know me, I am Cloud, or Cloud Mark. You can call me Cloud or Mark or Cloud Mark. It doesn't matter. I play horror games, I play JRPGs, sometimes I speedrun, and right now we're playing Corpse Factory. People are dying. A lot of people are dying. You can see all the body bags in the back. A little information on this game. It's a horror visual novel. This right here is Noriko. She is Corpse Girl. Well, I think she's Corpse Girl. For most of the game so far, I've thought that she's Corpse Girl, but now I'm kind of not so certain. And the premise is, there's a website that you upload somebody's picture, name, and whatever to have them killed. And at the start of the game, it was just Noriko. And she would basically find pictures of dead bodies on the dark web, edit them to look like the people that were submitted to her, send them to the person, and basically break their spirit for them to commit suicide, and that's how she would kill people. Since then, what up, Kiwi? How you doing today? There has been a new, they've gotten a lot bigger. They've killed hundreds and hundreds of people now, and she has her own team with Kojiro here, and there's another girl, Tomoe, who's like the driver for everything, and she does all the legwork and whatever. Now a new website has popped up called the Human Removal Service, and they're a lot more efficient at killing people, and basically they're just way better at killing everybody than Corpse Girl ever was. So right now, Corpse Girl, Noriko right here, where we're at currently, is she requested from that service to kill somebody, and when they found the body, they figured out that they faked who they were supposed to kill. Okay? So they were tasked to kill a man named Junpei. And when they found the body, because he's a mortician, he works in the morgue in a hospital, it wasn't Junpei. It was somebody made up to be like Junpei, like how she makes up the pictures to seem like the victims. It's very intricate, okay? And there's a lot of very, 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 very dark themes in this game, like suicide, depression, social anxiety, split personality disorder, eating disorders, and very a lot of heavy things. So there is caution if you are going to go into this game, but it is on sale right now for $17.99 on Steam, and I do highly recommend it. But yeah, thank you again for the raid. I do hope that your stream went well. And if y'all love you some Resident Evil Outbreak, Siren is like one of the best Outbreak streamers ever. So hopefully we get that HD remake and a lot more people can experience it. Or not even remake, remaster, or whatever. Thank you, Party Cat, for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the storm. Hope you're doing well. But without further ado, we're going back to the game. It irritates her when I withhold my thoughts. Sometimes I act like this just to elicit a reaction from her. She's cute when she's pissed off. So we're on the second act of the game. In the first act, we were playing as Noriko, and in this act, we're playing as Kojiro.
I don't know what we should do next.
Kojiro is helping her because he's in love with her. And she is just trying to fulfill her ambitions, so she doesn't really care. She uses that. She uses that against him. He basically does whatever he wants for her, or like whatever she wants.
We're kind of at a dead end, right?
Kind of.
Corpse Girl's website has gone silent. No one is requesting deaths anymore.
Also, the voice acting for this game is god tier. Like, she's voiced by Erica Harlocker, who voices An in Persona 5, Yumiko in Kakegurui, right? I think so. Venti in Genshin Impact. The opening theme is sung by Emmy Evans, who sings all of Nier Automata's music. So the production value is insane.
But if I'm to believe the news, there are still dozens of people being killed all around the city, which means the Human Removal Service is still as active as ever.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't have any cadavers at the morgue anyway. Can't exactly fulfill any requests.
True.
Despite her tired, exhausted appearance, she's dealing with recent events rather well, for Noriko at any rate.
Can you let me know when the morgue starts filling up again?
She went absolutely, she broke at the end of the first act. When I stopped playing as her, she broke. Yeah. I'm telling y'all, Shinya is like a red hair. Like, he's too innocent. I don't know.
Sure.
Too much.
Hang on. There is one body there. Fake Junpei.
Good old fake Junpei.
Not much use, though.
No, not really. Keep me updated.
Okay.
She rubs her eyes again and tries to hold back a
You are
yawn.
correct.
Sorry. Things are tough right now.
It'll get better. You'll cause some deaths soon enough.
My words have the strange effect of actually cheering her up slightly. I know we're not exactly the most normal people. The things we do, the causes we devote ourselves to, they are wrong. There's no other way to put it. I know this. I trust that Noriko knows this as well. More morbid, sick, disgusting. Noriko slaughters innocent people in the name of Corpse Girl, her fabricated idol, or alter ego, or whatever else she could be. As for me, I've got as much blood on my hands as Noriko does. She likes to believe she's innocent, but the truth is that she's just as guilty as any killer. I don't see myself the same way. I know for a fact that things I've done are enough to put me behind bars for the rest of my life. I don't try to convince myself that I'm something I'm not. I'm a criminal, plain and simple. But Noriko is a kindred spirit. We're connected on some level that I don't expect the average person to understand. We're bonded by the things we've done, death we've witnessed. Look at her now. This tired girl worn thin by stress. Can't help but be reminded by Shizuko. I messed up with Shizuko. I didn't take the time we had together seriously. I took it all for granted. I won't make the same mistake with Noriko. I'll make her mine, and I'll prove my love to her every day. Perhaps that will convince her to not discard me when I've run out of use.
Want something to eat?
She glances at me and opens her mouth, but weighs her words before speaking.
Thanks, but you know me.
I know.
She's also anorexic, so it's hard for her to actually, eat and stuff like that. Of course I know. I know so much about her. She doesn't eat, unless she absolutely has to in order to live for another day.
Something light? A salad? I want to share a meal with you.
I can't.
Okay. I understand.
I do. I get it. It's Noriko. Her convictions are what I admire most about her. What would it say of her character if I could break her convictions with a simple invitation?
We should get married.
Huh?
A few days ago, you said you'd be mine.
I told you something like that, yeah. But that had a condition. You had to kill Junpei.
She's right. I didn't manage to kill him. Does that mean I don't deserve her?
Maybe there's something else I could do? Let me prove that I'm a man you can love.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll take that. It's better than an outright no.
Maybe you should get going for now. I need to sleep.
Okay.
I'll leave her be. She should get some sleep, or
Later.
I should get my sleep myself.
Bye, Kojiro.
Something about the way she says my name sends a chill down my spine. It's not a pleasant sensation. It's not a feeling of elation or excitement. It's uncomfortable. It's concerning. Shrug it off and leave the factory. Is he gonna die? Is some shit about to go down? Wait, who's this? Oh, this is him! Oh shit. I have an uncannily vivid recollection of dragging Shizuko's corpse through the streets on the night she was killed. I had witnessed the collision. I watched, speechless, as the asshole who ran her down drove away like a coward. It took me a while to gather the strength to collect her crumpled body from the asphalt. But then, it was around 7 o'clock. The sun had set, but a sliver of light still peeked over the horizon, tinting the sky with an orange hue. People kept screaming at me. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't trying to smear Shizuko's blood on the sidewalk. I just wanted to take her home. I was hurt or dead. No point leaving her in the middle of the road. I didn't comment on my suit. Got all dressed up just for her. I didn't comment on the ring. Even as I slipped it off her stiff finger. She didn't say a word about the size of the diamond. It made a unique sound as we walked. Rings in my ears now and then, especially when I catch myself in quiet moments. Didn't know what it was at the time. Punctured the silence between my heavy footsteps. Turns out the sound was caused by the fabric of her dress stretching and ripping against the coarse textures of the sidewalk. Made that sound for the entire journey home. Footsteps. Thud. Thud. Shizuko. People people screaming, "Yeah!" The cacophony of irritating noise assaulted us during the entire expedition. Silence didn't rear its head until we arrived at our destination. It wasn't easy getting her up the stairs to my apartment. Carried her in my arms dozens of times, always effortlessly. During the final ascent, Shizuko's weight exceeded the limit of my muscles. I had no choice but to drag her up slowly, a single step at a time. It wasn't my fault her head cracked against every step. What the fuck? Once we were inside, I finally had the opportunity to examine the damage. Her limbs were flattened, her chest had caved in, ribs crushed and ground into fine dust. Remarkably, her beautiful face remained unmarred, looked at peace, despite having died in pure agony not long before. And that was the last time I kissed her. I planted my lips on hers, found comfort in the slight warmth that still remained. Then I closed her eyes. Dude, holy fuck. Okay. My memory of that event is so clear that thinking about it feels like I'm reliving it again for the first time. Pain hasn't dulled. I'm glad I don't live in that apartment anymore. Climbing those steps every day would only serve to remind me of dragging Shizuko behind me. I cut myself free from the chains that shackled me to her, but I can never destroy the memories. I think they'll haunt me to the end of my days. Perhaps that's why I'm so desperate to fill the void she left in my life. I'm desperate to distract myself with the love from another. And yet, that time, I didn't want to let her go. I wanted to hold her cold, lifeless corpse to my body and simply waste away so I could join her in the afterlife. In fact, I was so attached to her corpse that I did something I'd never done before. Not once, in all my history of toying with dead bodies. I decided to keep her. I fucking told you guys he kept her! Okay. Don't know whether it was out of despair or depression or desperation. Don't know why I decided to do such an odd thing. Possessed by a single disturbing idea. I emptied out the small closet in that old apartment, discarded everything within, and I carefully, delicately, lovingly placed Shizuko's inside the dark space. She stood up against the wall, almost casually, almost like she was alive. I held her in place with some rope, fastened to the wall, a loop around her neck and a few bindings around her waist. She sagged a little, but it wasn't overtly noticeable. There, Shizuko stood before me. Though her gaze was lowered, I'd almost fooled myself into thinking she wanted to greet me. Or she wanted to simply say goodbye. Goodbye. Something I never considered saying to her, but I knew it was time. Time to say goodbye to her, to say goodbye to myself. The me that shared a life with her. The me that lived in shame of the things I'd done. Into that small storage room, I piled the evidence of my guilt. All the macabre and sickening paraphernalia I collected over the years found a new home within that dark space. Photos of corpses, tomes written about embalming and mummification, countless books by Nobel Sinclair, the author I held so dearly to my heart. Everything and everyone that made up Kojiro found itself inside that room. And with one last look at the girl, I slammed the door and locked it tight. The ceremonial act of locking away everything I once loved had a cathartic effect. The moments after that aren't as clear in my mind. I know I sealed the room up and concealed the door, but I don't recall the effort that went into doing so. I know that I decided to leave the apartment behind, but I don't recall talking to the landlord. I know that I tried to move on from being the person I once was, but I don't know how much I truly changed. Yeah, that's what the smell was. Holy fuck, dude, everything is coming together. Because just over a year later, I'm still in this world, taking part in truly disturbing acts. I'm still obsessed with the dead. Still fawning over Noriko. Maybe people can't change after all. Maybe I've been fooling myself all this time into thinking that I'm different now. But I'm not. I'm the same as I always was. I'm still just Kojiro. Maybe that's okay. August 9th, Sunday.
Some good news for you.
Really? What is it?
A few new cadavers were in the morgue when I arrived tonight.
Ah,
Also, I was thinking
what about?
something funny. We went to such lengths to make sure we didn't get caught stealing cadavers from here.
And?
Well, it's amusing that the entire place was ransacked by the human removal service, but no one ever investigated.
Nobody fucking investigated. How does that even work?
No one here seemed to really care.
Oh, RX.
We tried so hard to cover our tracks, being careful about every single corpse we lifted.
I know, right? Nobody cared.
And those assholes just waltzed in and stole everything without any repercussions.
Yeah,
It makes me sick. I want to bring them down.
yeah.
Anyway, how many bodies came in today?
4. Not a great deal, but a start. Give it a week or two, and this place should be packed once more.
Okay,
I
good.
I don't even know. I don't
Thanks for
know.
letting me know.
Maybe everybody's preoccupied with all the murders going on that they just that this just flew under their radar or something. I don't know.
See you.
Later.
Since I already cataloged the new arrivals, I figure I can relax for the rest of my shift. Plant myself on the uncomfortable steel chair parked near the morgue's entryway. A few moments later, I'm lost within the flashing lights from my phone screen. I don't know how long I zoned out for, but when I come to, Noriko's name is emblazoned across my screen. Strange for her to call me now, since we spoke just before.
Yo,
You're not going to believe this.
try me.
Somebody requested a death.
Ah, that explains the excitement in her voice.
Congrats. It's been a while.
It's been far too long. I thought we were done for. I thought Corpse Girl's website
Yeah, they'll
had
figure it
fallen
out.
into obscurity.
Happy for you.
Kojiro, we can't let this slip through our fingers. We need a victory here. This new request has to be fulfilled immediately. I want this victim to die with a bang. I want his death to propel Corpse Girl's name back into the limelight.
Roger. Awaiting your orders.
I'm sending you the Vic's photo. Get me a corpse that matches his appearance, just like usual.
Only got a handful of bodies here, remember? Going to be a long shot.
Do whatever the fuck you have to do.
Her icy cold command leaves no room to be
Copy
misinterpreted.
that.
Call ends and I immediately receive a message from Noriko. Male, mid-30s or so, fairly unremarkable guy. Let's see what the bodies are in stock. I heave myself off the steel chair and log into the morgue's computer. Scanning through the inventory only takes a few seconds. There are 5 cadavers here in total, the 4 that arrived today, plus the Junpei Matsumoto look-alike. Looking through the details reveals that of 5, 3 are female and 2 are male. I immediately rule out using the Junpei look-alike corpse for this request. It's a heavy-set body that doesn't match the victim at all. I'll need to take a look at the other male, but I don't like the odds of finding a match. I navigate to the cold chamber and open up the cache housing the corpse in question. Cold air spewing forth from the open compartment fogs up my glasses. I calmly remove them, wipe them against my coat, and return them to their rightful place. After unzipping the body bag, I'm met with the face of death. So I have become more accustomed I have become more than accustomed to after many long years working here. This guy's just as average looking as Corpse Girl's victim. Seems like the type of person you wouldn't notice in a crowd. Simply be a blur against a sea of bodies. Exactly what we need. Compare his features to those of the victim in the photo. He looks similar. Couldn't exactly mistake him for a relative. Maybe with a bit of Noriko's makeup handiwork, he might pass off as close enough copy. Only one problem. Unzipping the body bag further reveals that this guy only has one arm. His left arm has been severed just below the elbow, leaving a surgical stump. Something that he has clearly lived with for years, because the area in question is clean. Probably had a prosthetic limb before being moved to the morgue. This particular feature is a deal breaker. Too hard to convince the victim that this is his own corpse if it's missing a limb. Although, perhaps Noriko could factor the missing limb into the cause of death. If I bloody the stump a bit, it could be made to look like he lost an arm before he died. Reach for my phone and call Noriko back, getting sick of the chit-chat.
You find a suitable corpse?
Almost. Got a guy about the same age and Bill. Plain face. Needs some work, but could do the job.
Great! I'll send Tomoe over with the van right away.
Just one thing.
What?
The body is missing an arm.
Oh, that is a problem.
Yeah, Can you edit the corpse photo so that the victim is missing an arm? Make it look like it got chopped off before he died. That way, when he receives the actual corpse, he'll be expecting a missing limb.
No.
No?
I'm already in the middle of making the photo. I'm not changing it now.
Then I don't know what to tell you. Don't have any other suitable bodies.
Make it work, Kojiro.
Jeez. That venomous tone
What
again.
can I do? Not going to roam the street and kill someone that looks like the Vic.
Come up with something else then. Hell, chop your own arm off and attach it to the corpse. I don't care what you do, but I need the body within the hour. If you let me down, I'll never be with you. Our relationship is tied to Corpse Girl's fate. If you let her down, you'll let me down. And I don't like being let down.
My phone beeps twice as if to protest Noriko abruptly ending the call.
Fantastic.
She likes backing me into corners. What am I supposed to do? It's clear that she doesn't really have any intention of being with me. She's using me, dangling the promise of something I desire right in front of me. Is this how gaslighting works? Yeah. And yet, I need to have her. I need to prove to her that she should be with me. I lower my glasses and gently rub my brow with my fingers.
Shit.
Got an idea. Can't believe I'm about to do this. I slide my glasses back up and adjust them so they're comfortable once more. I fetch the mobile mortuary lift and angle it underneath the tray protruding from the open cold chamber. With a great deal of effort, I detach the tray from the chamber, rest upon the top of the mortuary lift, allowing me to wheel the corpse across the morgue. After pushing it halfway across the open room, I let the wheels come to a stop directly underneath one of the ceiling's glaring fluorescent lights. With that done, I turn and rummage around in the cabinet. I sort through a number of tools until I find what I'm looking for. Clutching the sterile implement in a shaking hand, I return to the corpse lying atop the steel tray. I roll up the sleeves of my coat.
Here goes.
What the fuck? He's doing it! When the metal bone saw digs into the soft flesh of my arm, I have to grit my teeth and refrain from screaming. I angle the blade so that it cuts away from my elbow. I need to leave that intact. The cutting process is pure agony. To prevent myself from passing out, I keep my breathing steady and try to focus on something simple. Something my brain can handle while aflame with pain. I begin to count. 1, 2, 3. I count the seconds it takes for the jagged metal saw to reach the bone. 15, 16. Still just flesh and muscle and blood splurting down my coat. 20, 21. I think I reached sinew after 24 seconds. It's hard to tell because there's a terrible numbness that is somehow worse than the original searing agony. My fingers clutching the saw begin to slip due to perspiration. It's getting harder to even hold the tool. After about 32 odd seconds, the saw hits bone. I slide it back and forth, cutting into the dense matter with as much strength as my failing body can muster. Vomit and drool have soaked in front of my coat and begun to smear together with the blood. It's forming a shallow pool at my feet, and the stench of the mixing liquids threatens to overwhelm my senses. Counting the seconds has become infinitely more difficult. 43, 44, 30. Is it 21 seconds so far? No, it's been longer than that. It has to have been a minute by now. I've been sawing into my own arm for a full minute, but the blade still hasn't cut through all of the bone. I don't recall when I fell to my knees. I don't recall when I stood back up. Don't recall running my slimy fingers through my hair, or when flecks of blood spattered against my glasses, or when my bladder relieved itself. Don't even recall why I'm doing this. Is it for Shizuko? Is it because I love her? No. Noriko. It's for Noriko. Actually, it's for Corpse Girl. I have to prove I'm worthy of her. I have to be loved by her. There's nothing else for me. 97? 98? As my count reaches 99 seconds, my right arm falls to the wet tiled floor, flopping like a dead fish against the deck of the boat. I let out a groan of what can only be called relief as I slump in on myself, resting in a pool of foul liquid. My vision is blurry, my breathing is ragged. The same part of my consciousness knows that I need to treat my wound. I need to apply a tourniquet or cauterize the damage, or I'm just going to bleed out and die on the floor of my own morgue. The quiet voice in my mind, the very same one that drove me to such an extreme measure, urges me to finish my work. Getting to my feet is a struggle. I try to push myself up off the ground using both arms, but of course, I fall flat on my face when my right arm fails to react to my mental instructions. I think the lenses of my glasses smashed against the tiles because my eyes seem to be bleeding now. A second attempt at pushing off the ground is more successful. My left arm is somehow strong enough to hoist my barely responsive body. I sway and stagger around aimlessly before collecting myself enough to attempt to fish my severed arm off the ground. Luckily, I managed to grasp blood and vomit-soaked wrist of my former limb with my one good hand. I drag myself toward the mortuary lift that holds aloft the corpse I need to attach my arm to. I didn't think this through. I don't really know how to attach a severed limb. I've bludgeoned the corpse stump with my useless arm, trying to find some point of connection that will magically fuse the limb to the corpse. It's hopeless. As I madly flail the arm around, I can't help but laugh at the whole situation. Of course I can't attach my arm to this corpse. The corpse is missing its left arm. I cut off my right arm.
Good one.
I throw my useless detached arm behind me and rest my weary body against the mortuary lift. Accompanying my laughter is the laughter of somebody else nearby. I have to listen really intently to confirm that I'm not just hallucinating, but I'm certain that somebody just walked into my line of vision, even though there's nothing more than a dark blurred silhouette.
Yo, bro, you don't look so hot.
Junpei!
What did you do? Cut off your own arm?
I know the voice, but I can't place it right now. It's not my voice. It's not Noriko's
Want me to
voice.
take the pain away?
Yes, please. I'd give anything to remove the pain. I can't voice my consent. My mouth is dry, my jaw locked in
Here.
place.
Nothing a little fire can't fix.
Figure comes closer. He smells foul, like a dog that is bathed in gasoline. Heavyset figure that I now assume is Junpei Matsumoto is crouched over me. The smell of gasoline intensifies as he pours some sort of cold liquid all over my clothes.
I gotta light this place up. But you guys didn't get the hint when we stole all of your corpses. Well, you ain't gonna be nothing without your precious Mori. And Corpse Girl is gonna wither away without her right hand man. Right hand. Get it, Kojimbo?
The way he deliberately mispronounces my name really bothers me. It bothers me so much that the anger boiling inside me gives me strength to open my mouth once more.
It's Kojiro.
Sure, bro. Sleep tight.
The dog lifts his body and disappears into oblivion beyond my sight. The unmistakable sound of a match being struck should fill me with panic, but I feel strangely calm. Warm, glowing tendrils of flame flicker around the outskirts of my vision. Fire. The entire morgue is alight. The acrid smell of smoke quickly covers up the odor of gasoline. Fire. I lost my family to fire so many years ago. Maybe it's fitting I should perish in the same way. Fire. I hate fire. I hate it and fear it. Fire. It's everywhere, surrounding me. The sickening stench of burning flesh permeates my nostrils. I realize that it's the smell of my severed arm being incinerated behind me. Fire. Close my eyes. Really sleepy right now. Lost a lot of blood after all.
Sorry, Noriko. Sorry I loved you.
That was the end of Act 2. He's fucking dead! What the fuck? Act 3 is Aoi. Oh my god. Aoi, no soda. 1 month later. Okay. Ooh, I'm so mad. Holy shit, dude. This is fucked. Like, holy fuck. I don't know, like, what the fuck? Holy shit. What am I supposed to say? Like, this is insane. This blows my mind. I have no idea what to say. Dude, this is crazy. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, he cut off the wrong arm. Like, this is fucked. But anyway, this is where we're gonna stop for today. We're gonna leave on a cliffhanger. You're right, I need to save.